Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, hosting Cruz, and guys, I am here to talk about one of the most exciting fight cards of the year. And if you love Japanese boxing, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to love this. And it's a triple header. Well, about 4 fights on the card. 3 of them are title fights. And we're going to kick things off, ladies and gentlemen, with a true veteran of the sport from the Philippines, Jonas Sultan. Tremendous fighter. Solid guy. Pretty strong. Hard puncher. Very explosive. 19 wins, 6 losses, 11 knockouts. Has faced some of the best the sport has to offer. And he's got wins over John Rio Casimero, Carlos Caraballo, and he's also fought Paul Butler and Jerwin Ancajas. So he has a pretty solid resume, man. Of course, you know, he has 6 losses, but he's been tested countless times. And this Saturday in Japan, it won't be no different. He's going into uncharted territories. Nothing different for Mr. Sultan. He's been in uncharted territory before and pulled off the upset. His opponent from Japan, up-and-coming fighter, up-and-coming prospect. Well, you're no longer a prospect if you're fighting Mr. Sultan, because you're definitely and officially a contender, in my opinion. So let's talk about his opponent, Riku Masura. 3-1, 3 KOs. Look at, you heard that review. Based on that record, it seems like he just started, right? Well, he doesn't fight like he has only 4 fights. He fights like a very seasoned veteran, man. I've seen his fights. It took prior to finding out that Sultan was fighting Riku Masuda, I didn't know who Masuda was. So I looked him up, watched some tapes, and he has a pretty good, entertaining style, you know. These Japanese fighters, man, they come with, they go in that ring and they fight it with their heart, soul on the line. They give it their all, blood, sweat, tears, you name it. They're warriors. Something about them is just entertaining, man. They're passionate for the sport. Japan is one of the top boxing countries in the world, man. Very exciting fighters over there. So Riku Masura is no different. He comes forward, tucks his elbows in, tucks that chin in, comes forward and hands up, and he's stalking you. Coming forward with a jab, though. Educated jab. Feels you out in the first round based on the last fight that I saw. And he starts to work you. Head, body, peppering you with power shots. And he's got pop. 3 KOs out of his 4 fights. 3 wins, 3 knockouts. Took a loss. Stepped up a bit in competition. He lost by decision. But if you think about Sultan and Riku Masura, if you've seen Riku Masura fight, and of course, many of you have seen Jonas Sultan fight, I'm sure. This fight has what it takes to steal the show. Even though it's going to be the first fight of the night on the main card, this is a hell of a banger to start a card, man. Jonas Sultan is explosive. Riku is explosive. Both got power. Both got a similar style. They ain't backing up. It's going to be a tremendous fight. So yeah, you may think Riku is stepping up and biting off more than he can chew against Mr. Sultan. But I think he has what it takes to give Sultan hell. It's going to be a give and take, man. It's going to be a hell of a fight. Jonas Sultan, I remember when Carlos Caraballo fought him in New York, Madison Square Garden. Caraballo was the favorite coming in, even though Sultan was the more tested fighter. Sultan caused the upset and defeated Carlos Caraballo. So this is a more similar situation. Riku Masura is Carlos Caraballo and Sultan trying to cause the upset again. So will Masuda rise to the occasion and do what Mr. Carlos Caraballo could not do. And that's beat the veteran. Beat the veteran is Sultan. He's not an old man. He's been around. He's fought some solid competition all throughout his career, like I said. In those 6 losses, he's got big names in there. So yeah, Sultan versus Masuda is a tremendous fight to kick off any boxing card. I don't care where it is, what card, what other fights are on the card. If this is the fight that's kicking off things, man, get your popcorn ready. And on the other fight, guys, the first of 3 world title fights. This is the vacant WBO super flyweight title on the line. Kosai Tanaka, former world champion. He'll be taking on Christian Rangel from Mexico. And I've said it in the past, I've never seen a boring fight between a Japanese fighter and a Mexican. They both got similar styles. They go in there with their hearts, soul, blood, sweat, tears, you name it. That's why when these 2 countries get in the ring and fight, it's a war. And I expect nothing less. So let's talk about Mr. Kosai Tanaka. Kosai Tanaka is one of the best Japanese boxers alongside Kazuto Ioka, Junto Nakatani, who is my favorite Japanese fighter, and the monster herself, Inayo Inoue. So let's talk about Kosai. 19 wins, 1 loss, 11 knockouts. He's got wins over Vic Salazar, 2-time former world champion from the Philippines. Moises Fuentes from Mexico, may he rest in peace. Angel Acosta, former world champion out of Puerto Rico, hard puncher, excellent fighter himself. Tito, and the current WBO 108-pound champion, Jonathan La Bomba Gonzalez, who we will see next week as he defends his title against his mandatory and WBO interim champion, Rene Santiago. So, solid resume for Mr. Kosai Tanaka. Tremendous fighter. Like I said, one of the best Japanese boxers today. Hard puncher, explosive, good hand speed. And he'll be taking on little known Christian Rangel from Mexico. 22 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws, 9 KOs. And it'll be his first world title fight for Mr. Rangel for the vacant WBO super flyweight title. So this fight, guys, will be at 112 pounds. And, yep, it's for the vacant title. So Kosai Tanaka is going to attempt to win a title at 112 pounds in Japan, in front of his home, in front of his people, and in Japan. So that should be a pretty good fight, guys. And that should do it in the first portion of the card. 2 down, 2 more to go. Co-main event. We got the Monster's brother, Takuma Inoue, who will be making his second defense of his WBA bantamweight title against former world champion Herwin Ancajas from the Philippines. Only 18 wins, 1 loss, 4 knockouts for Mr. Inoue. Only loss to Norbin Ubali. He's a former world champion himself. Lost the title to Nonito Donaire after getting flat with a left hook in Carson, California on Showtime in the main event. So he lost to Ubali and has been on the fight, a winning streak since. About a 7-fight win streak since that fight. Now, Mr. Joey Ancajas will be taking him on, will be the challenger in this fight. 34 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 23 knockouts. Solid Filipino fighter. Explosive. A lot of these Filipinos are very explosive. Mr. Ancajas has wins over McJoe Arroyo, former world champion out of the Arroyo twins out of Puerto Rico. He's also beaten Jonas Sultan. And where it said that Jonas Sultan in those 6 losses, he has big names in there. So Joey Ancajas is a part of those 6 losses. So he's beaten Jonas Sultan. He also got a draw with Alexandro Santhiago, who I will talk about later in the main event. And he lost twice to Fernando Martinez. Matter of fact, he got shredded to pieces in the first fight against Fernando Martinez out of Argentina. And in the rematch, more or less the same thing. Styles make fights, and Mr. Martinez had his number. So this is for the WBA Bantamweight title at 118 pounds, guys. And should be a good fight. Should be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this entire card, man. This is a very exciting card. One of the most exciting cards in Japan that out of all the Japanese fight cards that we've been seeing lately, this is one of the most exciting. And the main event, guys, the reason why everyone in Japan in that arena is coming to fill up the place, and that's to see Junto Nakatani, one of the most exciting fighters in all of Japan boxing today, one of the best in Japanese boxing today, and my favorite, Junto Nakatani, 26-0, 19 knockouts, coming up a weight class, 118 pounds from 112, to attempt to get the WBC Bantamweight title off of Alexandro Santhiago out of Mexico. 28 wins, 3 losses, 5 draws, 14 knockouts. Again, Mexican versus Japan. Mexico versus Japan. Another war is expected. Junto Nakatani, boxing circles, ain't backing up, hard puncher, crushing left hand. Alexandro Santhiago, very high output in punches, very aggressive. Expect a brutal fight, guys. I have nothing else to say about that. Expect a brutal fight. These two guys are coming to war. Alejandro is not coming all the way down to Japan, 12-hour trip, to lose his title. And Junto Nakatani is not going to go in front, step in the ring in front of his people, and with his 0 on the line, and lose. You know, the pride will be there, and just, Junto Nakatani, one of the best Japanese fighters today. It's an excellent fight, guys. It's an excellent card. Excellent card. This card is like borderline pay-per-view, or it could be pay-per-view. How about that? It's a tremendous fight. Tremendous fight. Whoever bought a ticket to this one is going to have a good night of boxing. It's going to be very well entertained with all these fights. These 4 fights that I just mentioned. Jonas Sultan versus Riku Masuda kicking things off. Kosai Tanaka versus Christian Rangel. We got Rui Ancajas versus Takuma Inoue for the Bantamweight title. And we got Alejandro Santiago defending his WBC Bantamweight title against one of Japan's favorites, Junto Nakatani. There you have it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this fight card happening this Saturday. And the thing is, with these fight cards in Japan, it usually takes place on Tuesdays in America at 4 in the morning. But this time, it's going to be taking place on Saturday. Still 4 in the morning, but it's Saturday. So those of you who ain't going to work on a Saturday, you actually have a chance to watch this fight. But you got to wake up 4 in the morning. Miracle of Boxing, I'm your host, Jose Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, guys. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing right here. These tremendous 4 fights right here that I just called is going to take place Saturday night in Japan. One of Japan's best boxing cards in recent memory. They've been having some good ones, and this is one of those. And I think all these fights is going to live up to their hype. It's going to live up to the hype, guys. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm your host, Jose Cruz, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.